So hurricanes, tropical cyclones, can be so destructive. We really kind of need to, that's one weather system meteorologists need to be able to track and to understand what it's doing, where it's going, and how intense it might be. And they do pretty good. One of the things that they can do as far as knowing what direction it's going to steer is to study the winds, those westerly winds at upper elevations, to get a sense for how those easterly trade winds are going to drag those little tropical disturbances across the Atlantic Ocean. The other thing is that meteorologists need to make sure they have a handle on what are the temperatures that these systems, what's the temperature of the ocean where these systems are traveling. Now, do these weather systems, these tropical storms, or ultimately hurricanes, tropical cyclones, do they seek warm water? Well, if they have warm water, they can intensify. If we just kind of focus on what happens in the Atlantic Ocean basin, and I have it on the next slide, some examples, and a couple slides from here. In 2004, we're going to kind of see 4 hurricanes that kind of did that sort of thing. Hurricanes tend to ultimately move poleward, and we're going to see here on the next slide and in 2004 that we call that recurving. And as they move poleward, as you might imagine, in the Atlantic Ocean basin, this water is cooler, much cooler, significantly cooler than this water is, where it started. And it peters out, or tropical cyclones, as you might imagine, or hurricanes, peter out as they interact with cold water. They also peter out as they interact with land. So, and as a hurricane peters out, it is downgraded. So first it would be downgraded to a tropical storm, and then it might be downgraded to a tropical depression. Of course, that even less than a tropical depression is a tropical disturbance, and I think by then it kind of has lost its identity. There's not a means of necessarily downgrading. But on the previous slide, when I put this high here, the Atlantic Ocean basin, okay, this, if you remember, the semi-permanent high in the summertime is called the Bermuda High, B-E-R, Bermuda High. Just like, and actually, if the word Bermuda kind of sends kind of shivers down your spine, there's something called the Bermuda Triangle, which is kind of a whole nother thing, but it is in this vicinity. So this Bermuda High kind of helps to direct hurricanes in the Atlantic Ocean basin. So you're going to see that on the next slide. So recurving is what we call kind of this redirection, first north and then actually a bit kind of directed back to the east. Remember, they had been riding these easterly waves, you know, that came from the east and towards the west, and then they kind of recurve almost kind of to the east. So these are 4 hurricanes. They're color-coded. We have Hurricane Charlie, Hurricane Francis, Hurricane Ivan, and Hurricane Jean in the 2004. Now, the way this works is, if you can kind of see, if we focus on Hurricane Francis, okay, this right here with the dots, that is a tropical storm. So remember, when a weather system is intense enough to be called a tropical storm, it gets a name. So then this month was August. So August 24th, it was a storm. 25th, it was a storm. And then at the end of August 25th, August 26th, it was upgraded. It got its winds fast enough. Its central low was intense enough to create those winds that actually here it was upgraded to a hurricane. And you kind of see that solid line there. If we kind of track Hurricane Francis around, you can see that here in September 4th, it began crossing Florida. Eesh. And here about the 5th, notice, and actually it lost some energy at that point. And then here about the 5th, it stays on land. It goes clear up here. Isn't that crazy? Ending up in, what, Pennsylvania, New York? Wow, that is very crazy. So actually it maintained tropical storm status clear up here into what would have been September 9th. But notice that it was downgraded from a hurricane to a tropical storm. So that's kind of what we have going and showing you recurving. This one's kind of neat. Look at Hurricane Jean, where basically it kind of does a loop-de-loop. That was in September, so this is September 19th, September 20th, September 21st, 22nd, 23rd. It's almost like, I'm going to get you, Florida, you know, and then it goes back around.